This is the video on the circle of Willis. The circle of Willis is formed by the union of the vertebral artery. Here we have vertebral artery and the internal carotid artery. Vertebral artery is the branch of first part of the subclavian artery, and internal carotid artery is the branch of the common carotid artery. Common carotid artery bifurcates into the external and internal into the upper border of the thyroid cartilage. So we have here, this is our arch of aorta, brachiocephalic trunk. This is our brachiocephalic trunk, and this is left common carotid, and this is our left subclavian artery. And on the right side, this is our right common carotid and right subclavian artery. The branch of first part of the subclavian artery is the vertebral artery. So these two are the vertebral artery. This is our vertebral artery. The vertebral artery of the left side and the right side unites to form a basilar artery. Basilar artery. And vertebral artery has given the branches like meningeal artery, medullary artery, posterior spinal artery, anterior spinal artery, posterior inferior cerebellar artery, and anterior inferior cerebellar artery. And the branches of the basilar artery are, some of the branches of basilar artery are the superior cerebellar artery, pontine branches, and labyrinthine artery. And it is our internal carotid artery. These two are the internal carotid artery. The internal carotid artery is the branch of common carotid artery. So for knowing internal carotid artery, I have made this. It has four parts: cervical part, petrous part, cavernous part, and the cerebral part. Cervical part has no branch. Petrous part has two branches. They are carotico-tympanic branch and the artery to pterygoid canal. And cavernous part has branches like the trigeminal ganglion branch, superior hypophyseal artery, and inferior hypophyseal artery. And the branches of cerebral part are the ophthalmic artery, the most important branch, and anterior cerebral artery, middle cerebral artery, and anterior choroidal artery, and posterior communicating branches. So this is our internal carotid artery, and this is our middle cerebral artery. This is our anterior cerebral artery, and this is our posterior cerebral artery, and this is our recurrent branch, recurrent branch of anterior cerebral artery. And this artery supply the internal capsule. Internal capsule has three parts: anterior limb, genu, and posterior limb. Anterior limb is supplied by the branches of the recurrent branch and from the direct branch from the anterior cerebral artery. Internal capsule is supplied by the branch of the anterior choroidal artery. This is anterior choroidal artery, and also branch from the posterior communicating channels. And the posterior choroidal artery is the branch of the posterior cerebellar artery. So, and the artery supply of the anterior cerebral artery, posterior cerebral artery, and the middle cerebral artery, they are the branches of the internal carotid artery and the vertebral artery united in the circle of Willis. So this is the cerebrum from lateral view. So it has three parts. So the superior lateral part is supplied by the anterior cerebral artery, middle part by the middle cerebral artery, and the posterior part by the posterior cerebral artery. And the medial part, upper part is supplied by the anterior cerebral artery, lower part is supplied by the posterior cerebral artery, and this part is supplied by the middle cerebral artery. So now let's see to the spinal cord. In the spinal cord as the anterior spinal artery and posterior spinal artery, as discussed here. Anterior spinal artery there is only one, and there are two posterior spinal artery. Anterior spinal artery supplies the anterior 2/3 of the spinal cord, is anterior spinal artery, and there are two posterior spinal artery. It supplies the posterior 1/3 of the spinal cord. So this is the overview about the circle of Willis and its branches and its supply. Thank you.